10.1D, factor common factors and grouping. So we've talked about just a couple videos ago, factoring out the GCF, and that's prepared us for situations like this, where I have something here, I have this polynomial, and there's not really something that I can take out of all of them the same. And if that's the case, I can group them into things that I can take out a GCF. So let me pull this up here. So grouping it happens when we take the greatest common factor of the first two terms and of the second two terms. And then we factor out that GCF, which is a binomial, if it matches. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so I have right here this 4-term polynomial, right? 15xy plus 10y minus 18x minus 12. And if you look at this, like 2 goes into these guys, but not this one. Like these two have an x, and these two have a y, but not everything has an x and not everything has a y. So there's not one thing that I can factor out of all of them. So what I'm going to do is break them up. I'm going to kind of draw a line. Oh, not right there. It is not. I'm going to draw a line right here. Okay. And so then I have these two groups. So the first two terms, I can factor stuff out. And the second two terms, I can factor things out. And I'm going to kind of ignore, that I don't have the same thing coming out of them because it's going to work out. Okay. So I'm going to look at this 15xy plus 10y and say to myself, 15 and 10 are both multiples of 5. I know I can pull 5 out of both of those. And then they also both have a y. So I'm going to factor that out as well. If I take 5y out of 15xy, I'm left, 15 divided by 5 is 3. And if I take the y away right there, I'm left with x. So I'm done. I factored it out of this first term. Now I'm going to factor it out of 10y. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And y divided by y is nothing. So I've factored my first set right there of terms. Those first two terms. Okay. On to the second two terms. I'm going to make these guys a different color. The negative 18x minus 12. For these guys, I'm going to factor out, I could take out 3, right? But 6 is bigger. I'm going to take 6 out. And I'm also going to take it out negative, because then I'm going to get nice and neat numbers and positive numbers inside of my parentheses. Okay, so 18x divided by negative 6, negative 18 divided by negative 6 is going to be 3. And I'm not doing anything with the variables, so he's just going to come along. Negative 12 divided by negative 6 is going to be positive 2. And so now I've factored my second set of terms. And now, hopefully you notice that this guy and this guy are the same. Isn't that interesting? So this is that GCF binomial that I was talking about. I can factor that out of the whole thing. So I'm going to take 3x plus 2 and factor that out, because that's going to get rid of it right there. And then what do I have left? That's going to go in the second set of parentheses. Well, I have 5y minus 6. So I have just factored this polynomial by grouping. And I could test it, right? I could FOIL it back out. I could do first outside, inside, last, and make sure that I get, you know, this original polynomial. I will, but just this is such a slick way to do it. I really like it. Let's look at this second example here. So same thing is happening. Got 6x squared plus 3xy plus 2x plus y. Nothing, not everything has an x. Not everything has a y to factor out, so I can't do that. I can't take a 2 out of everything because it doesn't come out evenly. So again, I'm going to draw myself a line and kind of look at things as two separate groups that I can factor. So 6x squared plus 3xy, I can factor out an x, first of all, and then 6 and 3, I can take a 3 out of both of those. 6 divided by 3 is going to be 2. X squared divided by x will leave me with x. And then I go on to the next one here. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. Xy divided by x just leaves me with y. So there is my first set of terms factored out. Okay, let's look at the second set of terms. So this I have 2x plus 1y. There's really not anything I can factor out of that, right? So I'm just going to take out a 1, which is going to leave me with 2x plus y. And the reason that I want to do that is because look at this again. This guy and this guy are the same. Remember, 1y is the same as just plus y. So yeah, I can factor that guy out first. I'm going to return it to the y. I don't have to write the 1 in front of it. And then I'm going to rewrite my other things inside my other terms that are left. I'm going to put them inside the other parentheses. So to factor 6x squared plus 3xy plus 2x plus y, to factor that, I end up with 2x plus y times 3x plus 1. And again, if I want to FOIL that out, first outside, inside, last, I would end up with my original polynomial. Let me know how this goes.